a handsome and academic young man, is very popular among his classmates at school. But he already has a girlfriend, whose name is Zhao Qian. She also attracts a lot of attention for being very beautiful. Wang Bin seems to be very successful and, therefore, needs a job to make his girlfriend happy. He comes from a common family and does everything to make money. But no matter how hard he works, in the end, everything is spent on dates because he has no dating experience. Therefore, he does everything to please his girlfriend. The protagonist is very intelligent and has an admirable talent in game, even breaking the record of a game, being able to complete it in less time and obtain the largest amount of resources. With this, he has the chance to gain the ability to travel to the apocalyptic world, but if he dies, he cannot return to the real world. The greater the danger, the greater the gain. Wang Bin is worried that he may die, but ends up accepting because he can easily win the game and make a lot of money from it. He gets furious because nothing happened, but a message appears informing the rule. The first is, as mentioned before, that if he dies in the game, he will also die in the real world. The second is that every time a player enters the apocalyptic world, they need to survive 7 days to return to the real world. The third is that there is a time difference between the apocalyptic world and the real world. 1 day in the real world equals 7 days in the apocalyptic world. The fourth is that players can enter and exit freely, with any non-living object. Finally, the apocalyptic world has no rules, being very dangerous and cruel. Therefore, it is up to him to prepare, as the journey to this world will take place in 4 hours. The young man already thinks about what he will buy, but finds his wallet empty because of a meeting he had last week. The only option is to ask friends for money. When he gets there, they realize it's to ask for money, but being good friends, they help him and give advice. The protagonist worries about their expenses because of the borrowed money, but they say it's no problem. Just keep treating them like brothers and he can ask. The young man is moved by the act of kindness and, when he returns with his fortune, will make sure his friends enjoy life. Wang being a good boyfriend, he calls his girlfriend to say he will work the next day. At that moment, she tries to say something, but can't, because the protagonist always interrupts her. Unfortunately for the young man, she was with another guy in a car, basically betraying him. Wang finally goes to the other world and uses his strategies to do well, demonstrating he is very intelligent. He says this world seems very easy, but he always feels like someone is following him. A being appears behind the wall and the young man wonders if it's a zombie or a person, and that people in an apocalyptic world are much scarier. The boy then decides to hide, because if he dies, he cannot return to the real world, so he climbs the stairs to take the lead. A girl appears dressed as a fish and tells him to give her food and water, otherwise she will kill him. He gets panicked and says there's nothing, but she knows he's lying because he's carrying a backpack. The girl gives him 3 seconds to hand over the backpack, and the boy, in his mind, says he made a mistake, as he should have hidden the backpack and explored the place. And without his supplies, he doesn't know how he'll survive for 7 days. They start fighting, but the boy proves inferior and is pressed against the wall, which ends up being his chance to attack, and he defeats the girl with a stun gun. He says that even though she's hungry, she can't steal or threaten anyone. Seeing her in a pitiful situation, he gives her water and food, but in return, he borrows her dagger. As the young man leaves the building, 2 armed men are waiting for him, and he says that if he hands over everything he has, they won't kill him. Wang is attacked and defends the blow. The other thug tries to attack him, but the protagonist manages to strike first and wound him. The bald one tells his comrades to stop the bloodshed, as it will attract many zombies. Wang flees and gets trapped in a dead-end alley that allows the thugs to surround him, leaving him with no escape. Fortunately, the girl he helped returns the favor and helps him against the thugs. She retrieves her dagger and manages to defeat the bald one, while the other thug flees. Wang wants to go after him, but the girl stops him, as with all the noise he made, he will surely attract many zombies. The boy thinks his gamble paid off, as the girl seems to be a good person and could be a good partner in this apocalyptic world. As the boy is about to thank her, he finds the girl threatening him again and telling him to drop the stun gun on the ground. The boy makes a deal with her. If he can stay in this place for 7 days, she can eat what he brought. In fact, he won't even be able to eat it all. She accepts the proposal, and they make peace. She explains to him that he can't enter her room without her permission and that he'll stay in another room. The boy introduces himself and says his name, and the girl also introduces herself as Guan. Finally, he can rest in his room. Analyzing the room, we see that the windows were closed by the girl and that, inside, there should be a large family living in this place. In this case, the protagonist rummaged through the room. In the wardrobe there are only old and torn clothes, but in a drawer, he finds jewels, which could be worth hundreds of thousands in the modern world. Wang imagines that if he takes this to the real world, he can sell it and become rich. To give you an idea, he thinks he'll be at the peak of his life and can marry his girlfriend. Poor guy, while he's there thinking about the future with her, she's there with another man having fun. Before that, Wang will ask Guan if these jewels belong to her, and ends up finding Nua. The girl, puzzled, asks if he wants to retrieve his food. The boy asks if she wants to sell the jewels to him, and she says if he wants, he can take them, as no one wants those things. He's confused by this, but it turns out that these jewels can be found in many houses, so they're worthless. The young man is even moved. After all, he found his source of wealth, and the girl will also help him, especially since he gave her a lot of food. The girl then takes Wang to see a safe in the room. She has tried to open it several times, but all have failed, so she ends up giving up. Wang says that usually a chest like this one is connected to an alarm, and if you make several mistakes, it will be automatically reported to the police, but now the power is off, so they can try to open it. While he tries to open it, Guan tries to find something else for him. To Wang's delight, he manages to open it, and there are many precious things inside the chest, and, as he's not stupid, he starts packing his backpack to take it. The girl calls him an idiot because, to her, the things he's taking are worth less than candy. The boy says that these jewels she claims are useless, he'll be able to make them valuable and then trade them for more food. And that turns out to be good because it makes her help him even more. Wang asks the system that, after the 7 days pass, when he returns to this world again, where will he appear? The system replies that he will appear 100 meters from the last place where he was last time. Since this world is completely lost, the food Wang brings is a luxury, which drives people crazy for it. The boy asks why she doesn't plant and build a strong defense network. It turns out that after several years of hard work, the government has established various safe places to live, having a high wall that zombies can't pass through. Everyone who survived wants to go to this place, but few can get in. The government has achieved self-sufficiency, developing secure locations and, at the same time, studying solutions for the virus. As much as these places are better, food is also scarce, making it impossible to return to the previous standard of living. The girl asks about his job and if jewels can really be replaced with food. Wang simply says he's a businessman and he collects jewels and gold to trade with high-class people. She then tells him she will help him, and he cannot go out alone at night because he set traps nearby. While they were talking, someone stepped on one of his traps. The people from the Tiger Red gang who stepped on the trap, in this case, are the boys who attacked them earlier. Guan, in this situation, tells Wang to grab the things for them to flee. The one who seems to be the leader is called Zen and tells them to look for the girl. She leads him to a safe but uncomfortable place because they cannot go up to the second floor as the stairs connecting it collapsed, but if they don't make any movement or noise, the zombies won't come for them. Since there's nothing else to do, he grabs his phone to listen to music and says the girl is already back to normal after the previous fights. Guan starts crying because she hasn't heard music in a long time, and this music brings back memories of her parents. They start listening to music together, and the next time he comes back, Wang will bring a phone for her since she likes listening to music. The young man even seems to fall in love with her, but he pushes that out of his head because he's already in a relationship. They end up sleeping together while listening to music. The next day, they are talking about the Tiger Red gang. It is one of the 4 major gangs in the city and is in charge of the west of the city. She has met them several times, so they probably already know her approximate location. The gang leader is Tiger's brother, who has more than 60 subordinates and more than a dozen weapons. They stay in the tallest building, which is in Junawan, in the west of the city. There's a supermarket in it, and all the supplies from that market belong to them. However, there are 3 more gangs. The Kwang Cha gang is in the east of the city and is the most powerful. Its leader is Brother Xing, who has more than 100 people and more than 20 weapons. The next one is the Giant Bear gang, which is in the north. The gang leader is Brother Xiong. He has just under 100 people and a dozen weapons. Finally, the weakest gang, the Feiying gang, located in the south. Their leader is called Fei and has 4 subordinates with 7 to 8 weapons, and they've received plenty of explosives and grenades. Despite being the weakest, the other gangs dare not provoke them. The 4 gangs control each area of the city and do not infringe on each other. Apart from these 4 gangs, there are some scattered people who gather in groups. Others live alone, like Guan, and there are probably fewer than 1,000 people in this city. Most of the 2 million natives of this place have turned into zombies, and others have fled elsewhere. Wang thinks this is really an apocalypse, due to the city's population decline. Changing the subject, the young man asks if she knows where the city's vault is. She replies that she didn't pay much attention to it because when the apocalypse started, the vaults were looted and the valuables were all taken. So, there shouldn't be anything left, but if there is a place where this gold is hidden, it's likely in the building where the Kwang Cha gang is located. That was the city's largest bank, and the escort trucks would take the money there to be guarded. Apparently, he seems to give up on taking these riches because it's a powerful gang, and Guan says it's not good to provoke them. Guan and Wang will stay in this house for the next few days. In recent days, people have passed through the downstairs, apparently from the Tiger Red gang. Because there are zombies in this building, people dare not approach, and no one would be crazy to live with zombie. Finally, the day comes for Wang to return to the real world, and he leaves his food with Guan. She worries about him, thinking he won't survive without this food. Wang tells her not to worry and to hide with the food and water, and that he will also return in 7 days. This scene is quite sad. She hugs him and asks if she can go with him, but as one of the rules stated, a living being cannot leave this world. The two promise things to each other, and Wang is ready to go back. Wang promises to bring good things to compensate for Guan's help, and when she calls him, he's no longer in the room. Wang returns to the real world and interrupts a couple in the middle of the forest. Then he calls Zhao Qian to say he's rich. She answers and says she's looking for a house with her family. The girl's lover whispers in her ear that if she breaks up with Wang, he will give her the house as promised, and finally they agree to meet at the office. Wang Bin then appears all dirty in a jewelry store to sell his precious jewel. He asks the shop assistant if her manager is present because he wants to have a business talk with him. The girl says the manager is very busy at the moment and asks him to tell her what he wants. He insists if she can't call him and to end the matter. She tells the boy to leave and not to interfere in their business. The boy, with a smile on his face, shows her one of his gemstones and asks if she can verify it. She belittles the gemstone. The girl is anxious and asks if he knows she can call the police and arrest him if he presents counterfeits. Two men are in the audience watching everything, and suddenly another man comes in through the door. Continuing, the girl says the boy is trying to deceive her and that if he doesn't leave, she will call security. When the boy left, a man asked him to stay, introduced himself as a jeweler and store manager, and asked to see the jewel. The boy shows the stone, and the man is totally surprised by what he saw. The girl interrupts the moment and says the boy is causing trouble. The man, annoyed, tells her to shut up and calls her a prostitute, and tells her to prepare a cup of tea for the young man. She then does as she was asked, terrified of what happened. The two go to the room to talk, and the buyer asks if he wants to sell the jewel. The boy replies yes, and that if the price offered is too low, he will find another store to sell, but if the price satisfies him, the jewel will be his. Although Wang Bin doesn't understand business, he thinks this jewel must be worth at least 100,000 yuan and can't let the man lower the price. The manager, sweating, says no matter how much he looks like a poor person on the outside, he's displaying the jewel calmly, and so he can't see through the boy. The manager comments that he seems to be from a wealthy family and that if he gives a low price, he will surely leave immediately. The boy is nervous because the man hasn't given a price yet and wonders if it's because he pretended too much, but either way, he must keep calm because this is a psychological game. Finally, the manager gives an incredible price of 8 million, but Wang Bin thinks he must be joking. The panicked manager thinks the boy wasn't satisfied with the offer and adds another 500,000. The boy drinks some tea to avoid dying, and luckily, he didn't agree from the start because he didn't expect him to add another 500,000. Wang Bin is satisfied with the price and will sell it to the manager. He adds that if it weren't for his family's financial difficulties, he wouldn't bear to sell it. The man asks which wealthy family he comes from, but the boy asks him not to ask that. Wang Bin says he has 9 more jewels and asks if the man has the ability to obtain them, and the ecstatic guy replies yes. Finally, everything went well, but not for the woman who started the fight. But at least she probably learned something from it. The young man now takes a car and goes to the place where his girlfriend arranged to meet. He arrives at the place and doesn't feel very comfortable. It's his first time in an upscale building, but it doesn't matter because he's going to buy a house for his girlfriend and her parents. His girlfriend arrives with another man by her side, and the guy asks who he is. When she's about to say something, her current partner asks what kind of vision she had before, and how she found a man dressed as a beggar to be her boyfriend. People around watch this, and some even comment on how the guard let him in since this place is only for wealthy people. Zhao Qian tells Wang Bin that they should end it because they're about to graduate and will have to face society, and now she has found someone who can take care of her and is willing to buy her a house, and if he truly loves her, he should be happy for her. Wang Bin, at the club, says he can take care of her too, and if the time they spent together isn't better than a concrete box. He wonders if the other guy didn't force her to be with him, and it's not to be afraid to say it, because he's here. The girl says that's enough and asks if there's no way to end this without being unpleasant. The rich boy interrupts and tells her not to point fingers at him, or he'll have someone cut off her hand. Wang Bin says, "What's wrong with pointing fingers at you? What will happen if I point fingers at you?" His ex-girlfriend tries to stop him because he won't win against her current boyfriend. The outcome couldn't be different. The guy says he has already tasted Zhao Qian's body and asks if he still wants her. Then, what we were all waiting for happened. Wang Bin gives a very strong kick to the boy's chest, throwing him backward. Zhao Qian holds Wang Bin, but he is very angry and tells her to take her hands off him because he can take care of himself. The girl then slaps him in the face and says they're done and she would never be with trash like him. The girl goes to see if her boyfriend is okay, and Wang says that so many years of feelings are not as good as a car and a house. The guards come to take the boy away and he asks if that's how they treat their guests. The woman says he's not a customer and asks if he can buy a house, as if it were a rhetorical question, and the cheapest house costs 5 or 6 million. She adds that even if he stopped eating or drinking for a year, he still wouldn't be able to afford even a bathroom. The woman is so clueless that she says poor high school boys like him should stop dreaming during the day. She almost sold the house and asks what makes him think he can beat up her client. Wang Bin asks if 6 million is really too much, and another guy shows up telling him not to say such arrogant words. Then he also scolds the woman for not being able to take care of a child and, if anyone asks, don't say she was taught by him. This same man introduces himself as the sales director of the place and apologizes for them. But he simply didn't create problems like he did with one of his clients. And if he's not a client, he'll have to report the boy. Wang Bin says he wanted to buy a house, but the quality of these houses is so low that he lost interest. The employee and the director are perplexed by this, and the other clients laugh at the boy. As he is leaving, he says he hopes Zhao Qian will be happy and not regret it in the future. As he turns around, the director asks what is the cost price of the house he is looking for. In short, he is looking for a house of at least 20 million or more to be worthy of him. The director is annoyed by this answer and says he can meet his needs. A house is shown to us with a base value of 20 million and, if he wants, the director can take him there. But first the boy must show if he has that amount to buy. No problem, but if he shows this evidence, the three will have to kneel before him and take 3 turns in the kneeling room. The director says there is no problem and that if he shows that amount, he will be the most illustrious client. The guard says he shouldn't have that amount, just look at his poor and sour demeanor, and that the manager is just trying to teach him and shame him. Zhao Qian tells her boyfriend to forget about it and not argue with trash like him. But the rich man doesn't give a damn and curses. The boy advances to attack Wang Bin, but he is knocked out with a gold bar. The people around, including the manager, are surprised. Zhao Qian then looks at her ex-boyfriend. The boy bids her farewell, saying that she left him for someone who doesn't even care about her and that she really isn't worthy of being his girlfriend. The manager is shocked and comments that he just threw a big gold bar, and Wang Bin finally proves what he wanted. Furthermore, he says it's one of his accounts with less money. Again, the manager is surprised, as there are 70 million in that account. Meanwhile, the employee tries to reverse the situation by asking if he could have edited the photo to try to deceive him. The manager apologizes and now Wang Bin will be a VIP client. The guards ask if the previous deal still stands, and the manager tells the 3 to kneel and take 3 turns in the hallway, otherwise they can pack their bags and leave immediately. Obviously they will comply with this decision. The manager asks if Wang Bin is satisfied, and he replies that he's not, but he'll forgive them for now. To ensure Wang's satisfaction, the manager tells them to do 100 laps, and when he's satisfied, they'll see the mansion. In his new home, taking a bath, the young man says he bought this luxury mansion for 30 million yuan, not out of anger, but because he needs a private and completely secure place. He also mentions that he needs to return to the apocalyptic world soon, but first, he needs to prepare well. After all, there are more riches waiting for him. The friends who lent him money at the beginning comment that Wang Bin didn't tell them anything, even though something so big happened, and no matter how much Zhao Qian betrayed him, he's glad he woke up and wasn't fooled by her again. But the problem is that he punched the girl's boyfriend and he'll surely want revenge. Wang Bin doesn't answer the boy's call, and as they're heading to the dorm, one of them says a scammer sent him a message saying someone transferred 1 million to his bank account, and these boys used an account to act as a bank. The other boy says he also received this text message, and the other wonders if it's because of the website they accessed last night. They log into the app to check if it's true and are amazed because they really have 1 million in each account. They then don't know what to do, as they've never seen so much money in their accounts before. Wang Bin calls them, and the boy asks why he didn't talk to them when something like this happened. Wang Bin is going to his parents' house, and the boy tells him to come back because he heard that Master Li's bodyguard is very big and he'll seek revenge. Wang Bin pretends not to know this Master Li and asks if the money landed in their account. The boys ask if he transferred that 1 million, and he replies that the money is nothing special, and they need to accept the gift. The boy is worried about him, because how can 1 billion be nothing? Wang Bin summarizes that it's nothing to him, and they can say he won the lottery. The boys are curious how much he won, and he says it was 1 billion, which scares them. They are touched that Wang Bin remembered them. Turns out they always helped him in the past, and this 1 million is nothing. The protagonist adds that there are more things waiting for them in the future. One of his friends wonders if it's true that he broke up with Zhao Qian and hit Master Li, and even though he's rich now, he needs to hide, because Master Li is very powerful and he fears he'll try to get revenge. Wang Bin tells them not to worry, because for now, he's not going back, he'll stay in his hometown and, therefore, won't talk to them for a while, but when he returns, he'll invite them for some drinks. Proda didn't return home for a long time because he was very busy following Zhao Qian and studying, but, changing the scene, his mother asks why he didn't let them know he would return in advance, and what seems to be his father asks why he suddenly returned. Since he returned home suddenly, his parents were worried, thinking he had caused some trouble in the city. He tells his parents that he won the lottery and wants to give them money. He didn't lie on purpose to his parents, but he can't say he went to the apocalyptic world because they would think he's crazy. Despite returning to his hometown and giving them money, his main goal is to find someone else. He meets a man and the man asks him why he's there, as it's not yet school holiday time. We find out that this man is his third uncle, and Wang Bin wants to ask him a question, but before that, he gives him a bottle of wine. The uncle thanks him and asks what he wants, stating he'll do his best to help if it's within his power. When the uncle was young, he enjoyed hunting in the mountains, having plenty of weapons at his home. However, in the past 2 years, the country has become stricter with gun control, so he rarely goes hunting in the mountains now. The uncle allows the boy to ask what he wants, and Wang Bin wants to buy his air rifle. The uncle is surprised, not understanding why he wants it, and asks if he's not going to do something illegal. The young man says not to misunderstand him and that he'll soon find out. He also says that he and his classmates have found a remote place to practice and gain some experience. Wang Bin says there are many small animals, and to train his shooting skills with them, he thought of buying his air rifle. When the young man mentioned money, the uncle said it was okay, just that he didn't do illegal things or commit crime, and not to mention the money because they are family. The boy then waits while his uncle fetches the rifle, and when he brings it, the young man says it's the first time he's really received a rifle. Although it's an air rifle, it's powerful enough to kill a boar. The man then gives him the gun and a bottle of anesthetic, and one must be careful when using it, as too much spray can be fatal, and he's not to be seen with a gun in hand, as he could be arrested. After taking the gun and leaving the money for his parents, the boy returned to the city. This time, he not only prepared enough food but also bought a cell phone with 10 batteries for Guan. In addition to the air rifle, he was also carrying a new dagger, a machete, and a detonator that was used to bomb past mountains. He says that 1 day in the real world is 7 days in the apocalyptic world. He doesn't know how Guan has been in these last days, and wonders if she has been captured by the Tiger Red Gang. Finally, time is up, and he goes to the apocalyptic world. In the middle of the process, it is said that there is a person alive around 10 meters from his destination, but the boy doesn't change the destination and confirms to continue. Now that he's back, this time he needs to get more valuable items and gold bar. In this, Guan appears crying because this is her last snack, and if she knew this would happen, she would have saved and eaten less. The young man finds her, and she cries because he didn't abandon her. Guan hugs her crying, saying that he's back. Wang Bin calls her silly, saying he promised her he would return. Wang Bin says he brought plenty of delicious food, so they should talk while they eat. He notices many wounds on her body and asks what happened. She replies that everything happened as soon as he left. It seems that the leader of the Tiger Red Gang is offering a generous reward for their heads. Many people will come looking for them because she was worried about him, went to check on him, and at that moment, heard relevant news about him, and the result was that she fell into a trap and was almost caught several times. The boy ponders this, as since she had no way to contact him, she risked her life to find him when she heard news about him. With that, he hugs the girl and promises to make the people who intimidated her pay for it, adding that he will make the Tiger Red Gang disappear. She seems happy with this, and the boy shows the things he brought for her. She takes the rifle and is surprised he really has a weapon. This gun will be good for her as it has low noise and strong concealment, so she thanks him for the gift. Now he shows what must be by far the most important thing for her. Plenty of food that will last the whole month. She wonders if she's dreaming. She cries as she eats such delicious food and asks why Wang isn't eating. He doesn't eat because he's not hungry and also because he likes to see her eat. While she insists on eating, the boy shows his other gift and reveals a backpack full of batteries that will be enough to use for a long time. Guan cries over all this, as since the beginning of the end of the world and the death of her parents, no one has treated her as well as Wang Bin. He then tells her not to cry and, as soon as she finishes eating, to listen to music. During the boy's absence, there was a conflict between the Tiger Red group and the Giant Bear group due to lack of food, but both sides only injured a few people. As a result, some people were preparing to evacuate in search of bases built and managed by the government. Wang Bin thinks now is the perfect time. We see a sign with shots, and Wang asks Guan if she's never used a gun before, as she's very talented. Due to the power and range of this rifle being small, she estimates it's difficult to take down a person from over 50 meters away. But that's not a problem, they can get closer to shoot, as the sound produced by the shot is very low, making it hard to be discovered. She asks if they really stand a chance to get rid of the Tiger Red gang and the Guang Cha gang. The boy replies they can defeat them, but they can't act head-on. They have to let the gangs kill each other to separate them. And tonight they will cause a little trouble. The boy says he was thinking that gold bars are very heavy and nobody wants them, so probably those gold bars must be inside the bank's vault. If they want to get into the bank, they need to unite the Guang Cha gang with the Tiger Red gang, and let them destroy each other. Their main goal is to make the four gangs fight each other, as it will be easier to find the gold that way. The girl asks how they will make them fight each other. He says he brought the detonator because only the Giant Bear gang has explosives and grenades, and if they blow up the Tiger Red gang's warehouse, they will surely get angry and fight against the Giant Bear gang to get revenge. Guan is impressed with this plan and says Wang is very clever. The boy says the only problem is the number of guards that must be protecting these warehouses and that it's a bit difficult for them to sneak in. Guan says that at night there's no electricity and they usually sleep at 8 or 9 o'clock. And she's also quite familiar with the Tiger Red gang's base. There are also a large number of entrances and exits, and they can't watch all of them. Finally, she says she knows a place where they can safely enter. After Guan says she knows a place where they can safely enter, Wang Bin says if that's true, it will be very beneficial for them. The boy comments that since the gang is after them, they'll show what they can do. The excited boy says they'll prepare everything immediately and start at night. It's already night, and they break into a place. Wang Bin says this place is really unprotected and a man appears inside the house sleeping. The duo won't do anything to this man as it may alert the other, and they'll sneak up to the 5th floor. Guan asks why go to the 5th floor, and the answer is simple. There are only a few guards on the 1st floor, and further up, they're asleep. And this proves that the valuable items aren't hidden here, but on the upper floor. Following this analogy, the 4th floor should be where the elites and pillars of the gang are, and their leader, Tiger, must live on the 5th floor, where the supplies are stored. Their goal is to go up to the 5th floor and find out where they store supplies and then blow them up. The duo quietly climbs the stairs and are on the 3rd floor. They're crawling so as not to be discovered, and Wang Bin comments they shouldn't take advantage of this situation. They reach the 4th floor, and the man on the floor has been anesthetized. Finally, they reach the 5th floor, and the man says unfortunately, there's less and less food. Wang Bin and Guan eavesdrop behind the wall on the conversation between the two guards. They say the estimate is that the food will last for at most a little over a month. The bald guy asks if they can defeat the gang of giant bears and get their food. He says they should try, even if they can't do it, because if they don't, they'll starve sooner or later. He adds that it would be difficult as they have grenades and explosive. It wouldn't be easy to capture them. So, he thinks they should evacuate as soon as possible with the food. The bald man signals to be quiet because if Brother Tiger hears this, he'll lose his head. Wang Bin spies the area and says this seems to be Brother Tiger's room. The guards end up going to the bathroom, giving the duo a chance to proceed with their objective. The protagonist hears a snoring sound, so this is really Brother Tiger's room. The locked room next to him must be used by Brother Tiger to store material. Guan comments to Wang Bin that she heard them say that sooner or later, the Tiger gang will fight the Giant Bear gang and asks if he really needs provocation. Wang Bin responds that it's not easy to explain right now, but in short, he'll leave again in 7 days, and the Red Tiger gang supplements will last another month. Their time is limited, so Wang Bin can't wait, and the easiest way to get them to fight directly is to not let them have a place to go. The girl understands, and Wang says the key to this padlock must be with Tiger. They can't confirm this without getting in, so if they make a mistake, they'll die right here. Guan tells Wang not to worry and that she'll take care of it with a piece of wire. The girl comments that she can open a regular lock with a piece of wire and, since the gate lock is apparently a bit larger, it won't be difficult for her to unlock it. Wang Bin says Guan is amazing, and switching scenes, a zombie enters the building and wakes up the guard. He startles and screams for help. He tells everyone to wake up and that the zombies are invading. Other members of the gang hear something and say that something happened on the 2nd floor, wondering if the giant bear gang is attacking them. Finally, the duo manages to open the door and hit it. This is where they store their supplies. The young man already wants to prepare the explosives and leave, but Guan is excited about so many bags of rice on the premises. She then says that bombing them would be a waste and that she will take at least one bag of rice. Wang Bin tells her not to take it, as the rice bag is too heavy and it will be harder for them to escape. Finally, he tells her to trust him and that he won't let her go hungry. At that moment, the duo hears screams calling for Tiger's brother, as a group of zombies has invaded the building. Guan, whispering, says that the zombies must have entered through the hole they came in. Wang Bin tells her to prepare the bombs and get out of here immediately. They need to take advantage of this moment and the gang is focused on defending themselves. The bald man knocks on the door to warn about the zombie invasion that has invaded our territory. When he tells Tiger's brother to hurry, the bald man punches him in the face. The leader then comments that he warned him not to wake up while he was sleeping. And hey, what's back there? It looks like he wasn't just sleeping, huh? The hairy one in fear says they didn't want to wake up, but it turns out the zombies invaded. Tiger wonders how there can be a zombie invasion, but doesn't finish the sentence, implying that someone from the giant bear gang invaded the place. He goes to the room that stores the supplements, and wonders why there's so much spilled wine. Soon he sees the dynamite, and everything explodes, throwing Tiger and the other members away. Tiger wonders who used the explosives to blow up their supplies and, very angry, shouts that it was the Tiger Red gang. Wang Bin, in the ventilation, overhears two gang members talking, who heard that it was the giant bear gang that used zombies against them. The boy comments that it seems like the plan worked, now they just have to wait for the two gangs to fight each other. But it won't be like that. Wang Bin is already thinking of a way to make the Kwang Cha gang and the Fei Ying gang fight each other too. Guan comes down and warns that there are no guards, so Wang Bin can come down without problem. Soon the zombies appear at the door and end up entering. Guan doesn't understand why there are so many zombies, and Wang tells her to be careful. The zombies advance and Guan shoots at them, but since there are so many, she will try to distract them. But the worst happened. A gang member is seen by Guan and says that it wasn't the giant bear gang that destroyed the warehouse. The girl, without thinking twice, shoots the man and defeats him. A zombie then almost catches Guan from behind, but Wang Bin finishes off that zombie. Finally, he talks to Guan, who is more reliable to use cold weapons to deal with zombie. The girl replies that she also thinks so, and Wang Bin comments that he has killed many zombies in game, but this is the first time he faces real zombie. They then run to create a path and escape, and everything seems to have worked out because they are already home. Wang Bin comments that their luck is that few zombies entered quietly, and otherwise, the zombies would have finished them off. Guan, sad, says that after all this, she is tired and hungry, and Wang Bin comments that, for today's success, they should celebrate, so she can eat as much as she wants. He then warns that he will get his food in his bag right away. Guan is happy to see so much food, and the meal begins, and the boy is shocked by the way she eats, despite knowing her for a long time. Wang Bin also needs to take advantage of this and opens a can of beer to drink. But Guan also wants to try. The boy asks what kind of beer a girl drinks and tells the girl that he brought a lot of juice and soda. Guan says she's not a kid anymore, and Wang Bin says that besides age, other things are certainly great. Those who understood. The boy then says he's going to his room to get ready and change clothes, and he tells the girl that she should also rest earlier after she stops eating. When she notices that Wang has gone to the room, she decides to grab the beer to try, and she wonders what the flavor must be. The boy in his room says that while they were fighting zombies, there were notifications on his phone and asks to show them. A panel of skills and attributes appears, for him to better understand his own attributes, and the boy replies that he already knows that, and asks if the system made any mistakes because he exercises every day at school. He goes on to say that he is always among the top 10 in all school sports events he has participated in. His body should be stronger than most people's and he doesn't understand why all his attributes, except agility, are low. The system responds that there's no need to be shocked, as the average attribute values are in line with the standard of this apocalyptic world. This is normal for those who live in this apocalyptic world, as the physical fitness of people who manage to survive is very high. It's much higher than in the real world, and they need to face zombies and other danger. The system leaves a warning that he can use the accumulated gold to make upgrades to the system and become the strongest. We receive information that the second system update can activate the lottery system. Prizes include food, weapons, attribute enhancements, and various skill. Wang Bin says it's like the PC version, but he wonders if it can really be used to improve his body. The boy asks how much gold he needs for the first system upgrade. The system responds that for the first upgrade, 1,000 kilograms of gold are required. After the upgrade, a sound space will be opened in the item box, which can be accessed anytime and anywhere. The boy then says that if gold is 400 grams and 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, then it will be 400,000 grams. And the system comes to say that 1,000 kilograms are 400 million. With that, the boy asks if the system isn't being too mean, and the system tells him not to be discouraged because this transaction definitely is worth the money, and claims not to be an intimidation. After unlocking the lottery system, the boy can obtain a skill book in it, with which he can learn the skills described in the book and significantly increase his survival probability. Skills can also be enhanced by killing zombies, making Wang Bin stronger and stronger. And most importantly, his skills and attributes can also be used in the real world. The system then finishes by saying that the upgrade definitely is worth the money, and tells the protagonist to think about his real world because he can become the strongest using his money. Wang Bin agrees that one cannot only think about the danger of this apocalyptic world, and now that you have offended Masterly, you will certainly need some skills to defend yourself. However, Wang asks if there will be any side effects after he gets stronger, for example, going bald, but the system replies not to worry because there will be no side effects. Wang Bin bids farewell, saying he'll call on him when needed, and it seems his main goal now is gold. Changing the scene, we see Guan sleeping because she's drunk. The guy seems to be angry, saying she drank all his beer stock, but we know he's a good guy and, despite her drinking his beer, he grabs her by the waist and takes her to bed. The boy comments that although she looks skinny, she's quite heavy when holding her arm. He looks at her and blushes, commenting that Guan is very beautiful, with all her lovely features, and unlike Zhao Qian, she treats him well. He thinks he's doing something wrong, but he restrains himself, and as he's leaving, he comments that it's better to take a cold shower and calm down. To our surprise, Guan has been awake all this time and wonders why he left like that. She embarrassedly wonders if he only thinks of her as a sister. She covers herself with the blanket, saying she's going crazy. She wonders why she's thinking about this. Early in the morning, they start packing to head east of the city. Soon, we see the two of them looking super stylish walking amidst the mist. Guan stops and tells Wang to wait. She takes off her glasses and smells something, but it's the smell of meat, and she says someone is eating nearby. Wang also smells it and rushes to eat the meat, as he's tired of packaged food. Proda tells him not to be impulsive, as this could be a trap, but he goes ahead in vain. Three men appear, and the hairy one tells the other two to grab the knives and hide and wait for his instruction. If they manage to pull off the plan, they'll not only have meat that night but also a lady to warm their beds. On top of a building, Wang Bin and Guan observe the gang member. Wang Bin asks Guan why the leader seems so familiar, and whispering, asks if he's from the Tiger Red gang. Guan says he's right, and that person is Chen Ziqiang. Originally, he was a small leader of the Tiger Red gang but ended up moving to the Crazy Sharks gang, which is the Quang Cha gang. Continuing, he moved to this other gang because he knew the Tiger Red gang needed food. Wang Bin understands and says that this group of crazy sharks was exactly what he was looking for. The men are armed and in front of the building. A voice appears telling them to stop, or they'll get shot. Wang Bin wonders if this female voice is coming from the building, and Chen Ziqiang asks if Officer Miao is home, and she asks what he's doing here. The man says nothing much, but he heard she just killed a boar, and her brother hasn't had fresh meat in a long time. He just wants to bring his brothers to try it out. Guan says this woman's name is Miao Hanyun and that she was a police officer before the end of the world. Wang Bin asks the girl who's in the house. The girl replies that after the apocalypse came, she took over this house and built her base. And there was also an old police officer in her team, named Li Xingping, who seemed to be her master. Besides them, there are 5 or 6 children and women, without fighting skill. The girl comments that it seems like Li Xingping suffered a major injury to his foot, so Miao stayed to take care of him. Wang remarks that from what she said, it seems that this officer Miao is truly a good and fair person. At this, Guan asks the boy if he wants to help them, and he responds affirmatively, but his main reason is that the pair needs assistance. Changing the subject, Miao tells Chen Ziqiang that the Crazy Shark gang has quite a few people, so they must hunt for themselves if they want to eat something. Chen Ziqiang says not everyone is as lucky as her, and her brothers have gone hunting several times, but they returned empty-handed a few times, so he has to bother her. Finally, he says he doesn't want more than half. A man inside the house appears and asks why they don't give the meat to them, and the woman responds that they can't because if they do, they will want more and more in the future. Man, this woman looks a lot like Guan. Could she be her mother? But no, because in the last episode she said her parents died, and she also knows that woman there, right? Continuing, the woman tells the thug that she won't give that boar to them because she hunted it, and if they want something, they should come and try to get it. Chen Ziqiang tells her she has 2 pistols, but he has many other brothers with him, and if they fight, she won't have enough ammo. Suddenly, a gang member is hit, and she tells them to come if they want to fight. Chen Ziqiang tells his brothers to advance if they don't want to be punished. Miao, behind the wall, says they don't have enough bullets, so they can't fight them. Li Xingping says the others should go to the hallway, then he goes to the hallway to deal with them. Miao understands and tells him to be careful. The pair just watches everything from the top of the building, and Wang Bin tells Guan to get ready because it's for her to shoot those guys. A gang member is behind the car aiming into the house, but ends up being shot by Guan. Chen Ziqiang doesn't understand what's happening and wonders if someone shot him. Miao also doesn't understand but takes the chance and shoots, hitting another gang member. The leader tells the shooter to shoot at Miao. However, he is hit by Guan, but she ends up missing the spot. Chen Ziqiang tells them to find a place to hide because someone is shooting from afar. Miao asks if someone is helping them, and Chen Ziqiang asks who dares to fight against the crazy shark gang. The police sees this moment to go help their master, but nothing major happened, just two men invaded the place and the master took care of them. The man asks Miao what happened up there, as he doesn't understand why she suddenly came to help him. He guesses it might be because their firepower is very strong and many of them are coming in. Miao says their firepower is indeed greater, but apparently someone is helping them. She says that the armed men from the Crazy Sharks gang who were hiding just suddenly disappeared, and Chen Ziqiang noticed it. Changing the scene, a gang member asks Brother Chen what they should do because many have died and many are injured, and he asks if he didn't say that the police had few people with them. Chen Ziqiang is also confused by this and says that his information cannot be wrong. He then tells Officer Miao to have a good talk with them. She asks what he wants to talk about, and he, afraid, responds if she could talk to her friend to let them go, and they will make what happened now never happen again, and he will never bother her again in the future. Li Xingping talks to Miao, who doesn't even know the friends who are helping them, and asks what they are going to do now. Miao says she can't let Chen Ziqiang find out that the people outside are not with them. Then a warning is given that they must let the Crazy Sharks gang live because they have already surrendered. Guan, whispering, asks what Wang wants to do now, and he says he will answer her and to wait for his order. Wang tells Miao that he will let them go, but only this time, and the officer warns the gang that they can go. The master also comments that it really seems like they want to help him. Chen Ziqiang gets angry and says he will go back and bring a few more people, and then he will finish them all. Wang warns Guan to shoot and she doesn't understand, but obeys and finishes off another from the gang. The guy then asks if she didn't say she was going to let them escape, and Miao asks why they shot again and if they are doing it on purpose. Chen grabs a gang member to defend himself and tells the boy that he should feel honored to do this for him, and that it was to blame the person who is hiding for breaking the promise. Guan says she accidentally let him escape from her line of fire, but it's okay, and it seems the gun isn't good enough for her. Miao then asks what they want, and if it's about food, they have nothing to say. Wang Bin, with a snack in hand, says he wants to cooperate with her and that there is some food for her, which he can consider as a gift for cooperation. The young man enters and a gun is pointed at his head. The woman tells him to throw everything on the ground, and the boy tells her not to worry, because he only brought food and nothing else. Wang raises his arms and Brother Nam checks Wang's bag and, as expected, finds lots of snacks. Wang Bin says he can give them these things and that he really wants to cooperate. Since it's like this, the woman tells them to talk on the second floor. The boy tells her to be careful not to accidentally shoot him, and she replies not to worry, as they only shoot at criminals. Changing the scene, Li Xingping asks if it's him who is secretly helping them and immediately welcomes them. Wang Bin, in his thoughts, comments that besides the little boy who moved his backpack, there are other children, and they are on alert as he watches them closely. Wang Bin asks if they are okay, but we are explained that they had very unpleasant experiences before being found by the police. Therefore, they are defensive with someone they don't trust or know. Wang comments that he thinks he gained a bit of trust. As we can see, the gun is already lowered. The woman asks what his goal is, and he replies that it is to work together to fight against the gang and the crazy shark. The girl thinks this is absurd, because there are many people who are part of this gang. In that, the master even comments on his thought, that the boy knows nothing about the Crazy Sharks gang. Nan's brother asks if Wang has the courage to attack people from the Crazy Sharks gang, and Admirado says he is incredible. The shy young man talks to the woman who knows what his concerns are. Even though she thinks it's a crazy idea from Wang, he asks her to consider it, because the Tiger Red gang is already fighting a giant bear, and if they can get the Crazy Shark gang to fight against the Fling Eagle gang, they may benefit from this fight. She says that, actually, if the gangs end each other, there will be no more big gangs in this city. However, she is not interested in his plan. In her thoughts, she agrees with what he said, because this is a big opportunity. But she not only has to take care of these children, she has to take care of her master, who has a hurt leg. Finally, she tells the young man that he is not into participating in the gang fight. He just wants to save some food and get them out of here as soon as possible. The young man politely asks her to reconsider, and once again, says he knows what they want. He tells her that if she agrees to help, he can give them more food than that. Nam's brother shows the backpack with snacks and says Wang didn't lie. There really is a lot of food we've never found before and others we've never seen. Wang says to trust him and that these foods are already luxury items here and that the food resources he has in his hand, they're hundreds of times more than this. The woman is suspicious because she doesn't know his identity and support, and even worse, how he manages to have so much food. Wang says he knows she's thinking about the origin of this food, but don't worry about it. Just answer if she's willing to work with us. She thinks that by cooperating with him and getting this food, they won't need to risk going out to look for food, and even better, they won't need to worry about food. But there's a catch. She doesn't know if he's trustworthy. She then asks for her master's opinion, who says that if everything is okay with her, he supports her. A child grabs the woman's attention and says you have to live in constant fear while hiding. So why don't we go out and take a risk just once? The children don't want to become a burden. And the girl says that if Miao is rejecting this because of them, they are really sad and will do their best not to be a burden. Then they need to deal with the gang together. The policewoman says it's very risky and the worst can happen if they fail. The brother gets very angry and says he's not a coward like Miao and that if she doesn't want to, he'll help Wang himself. Even though Miao asks him to calm down, he doesn't give up and confronts her. He says his parents were killed by the Crazy Sharks gang and now it's his chance to get revenge. Wang puts his hand on the boy's head and asks how he can talk to her like that. The young man adds that all the decisions made by Miao are to protect him, and that if she were really afraid, she would have left him alone a long time ago. Wang says the boy is a man, so he should apologize to Miao. The boy then apologizes and says he shouldn't have said anything to her. The tension then dissipates, and she hits him on the head, calling him a brat. She asks if he really thinks she's a coward, and she hates not being able to bring justice to all of them. It turns out their reality doesn't allow them to do such a thing, and they don't have the numbers and power to defeat these bandits. Miao asks Wang what the way is to destroy the Crazy Shark gang. Wang mentions he already got the Giant Bear gang and the Red Tiger gang to fight each other, and now he needs to make the Crazy Shark gang fight the Flying Eagle gang. And while she helps him start the fire, he'll take care of the ammunition and supply. She responds that she's the only one who can help him because the master is still injured and the children aren't strong enough. But that's not a problem, he just needs her. Wang tells Xiao Nan to pack his bags because men always do things first. Wang Bin is happy about all this because now he has found reliable teammates. A very nice building is shown to us, and we see Guan training with a weapon left by one of the members of the Crazy Shark gang. Changing the subject, Wang Bin tells the police officer that before it was just the two of them, but now she's also present. The woman is surprised because there are few people and asks how he dares to confront the gang. The student says that although he doesn't have many people, she can be sure that Guan's aim is very good. The police officer appears and thanks Wang for the beer, and Guan says he used to have a lot more, but she drank most of it. Miao asks if it's really beer because if it is, they could trade it outside, and it would be worth 3 boxes of ammunition. The police officer agrees and says the taste is very good. To top it off, it was just a little cigarette. Wang says that's not all and that next time he'll bring more for him. The boy doesn't forget the policewoman and also offers her a beer. She then accepted because it had been a long time since she had tasted it. Later, I don't know what she drank, but the taste was very good. The children receive the sweets and snacks and ask if they can eat all of this. Obviously, they can, but each of them can only choose one. Suddenly, a big explosion happens, and Guan says they are the Tiger Red gang who have been fighting the giant bear. Wang Bin agrees and tells Miao he wasn't lying when he talked about it. Miao says she can believe that for now because of her kindness for the luxurious food, but she still has a question. She wants to understand why Guan doesn't run away with him, since he has so much food, and why he wants to destroy the gang. The boy then says it's because the 4 gangs have been doing many bad things all this time, and he's fed up with it. Now that he has the power to end them, he will. Wang Bin calls his brother Nam and throws the weapon to him. This weapon is the one the gang left behind. Guan is shocked by this and wonders if he really gave the weapon to the boy, as he's still a child. Finally, we've finished this episode. If you liked it, leave your like and don't forget to share. Until next time.